Hello everyone, I'm Bob and welcome back to a little bit more internet spaceships. We've got a fair few things to run through today, so we'll lead on with this week's Around the Verse, which has given us some very juicy crumbs to digest this week. For fans of the Carrack, some info was finally squeezed out of CIG and Disco Lando, which told us that the Carrack is going to be getting a team to work on it shortly to flesh out some more of its interior design, and that it will be flyable next year. The Hurricane Fighter also got a good long look-see, showing us some more in-depth details around its design and the many guns it carries. It's certainly a cool ship, but not my personal own cup of tea. In fact, whilst I consider myself a competent combat pilot, it's not going to be my main focus in the game. So if I see you in one of these things, I'll most likely try and give you a wide berth. The most interesting addition, however, was obviously the concept for the new and shiny Hercules Starlifter brought to us by Crusader Industries, the same in-game company responsible for giving us the Genesis Starliner concept. This time, however, the focus is less on moving lots of people around and being a bit more modular, as we have a series of variants with this new concept. Going over them quickly, we've the ground vehicle lifter, with the info telling us that this variant can fit 2 Nova Tonks within its hold. We've also got a cargo variant for mass freight transit, very secure and heavily armoured, and we've finally got a gunship variant which has a fair few members of my organisation squeeing and readily melting down their Carracks and Starliners to go mental with. It's fairly large, being as long as a Starfarer roughly, but a lot wider, about twice as wide I think. And the StarCitizen subreddit has given some great comparisons and possible inspirations for this thing, ranging from the Great Fox from Star Fox 64, which you can't unsee once you've seen it, and even Thunderbird 2 because of the side nacelles. It's even got forward and rear loading ramps, and depending on the variant that you get, a massive amount of both manned and unmanned turrets. The most interesting thing for me personally, however, is within the gunship variant. On Around the Verse we were shown this particular concept shot of the interior of the gunship variant, and it goes without saying that those bombs you can see there are absolutely ridiculous. People have been having a fair few good lols comparing them to Moabs, the mother of all bombs, but the sheer size of the things readily puts the relative size of the Tsar bomber to shame, the father of all bombs, and that's the biggest bomb humanity has thrown at itself to date within history. As I'd commented to my org on Discord, all I'd wanted from the game was a lovely chance to explore and be my own little Captain Picard, finding and exploring strange new worlds. And now I have to go to bars in-game and rub shoulders with people who will happily comment they fly these things and drop bombs the size of auroras on people. Getting a little bit more serious for a minute though, to me this brings an interesting question to a game mechanic which we don't have a lot of information on at the moment: base building. At the moment it's still very obviously early stages, with the only real mechanic that we know of being the land claim tokens that came with the Pioneer Outpost Builder. The Pioneer allows us to fly down to a planetary body or surface and begin to plop down our own outpost buildings, similar to the ones that we can see within the alpha at the moment, so all the ones that are at Tubin or ArcCorp Mining for instance. You've got a smattering of small modular buildings ranging from emergency hab shelters, laboratories, agricultural growth labs, storage spaces, along with all the little machines that power them, like solar panels, the outdoors agricultural growth pod things that you can see at some of the farms, and some of the mining drills at ArcCorp for instance. So looking forward, your organisation can find that perfect little spot to settle down and put down routes for people to visit and trade, come together and play as a larger group. The problem I foresee with this is that even though CIG has said we're going to be able to put down SAM sites with various anti-air capabilities, with the ships we now have the Retaliator bomber and its scary size 9 torpedoes. At the end of June we'll also have the Eclipse stealth bomber. And now with the addition of the Hercules we have yet another bomber which frankly, with those things in its cargo hold, is colossal overkill with its full payload. My point is that we only currently have the beginnings of base building mechanics being fleshed out, and we don't have much of a forward looking vision for it yet, compared to the amount of ships we have in game now that, should they all be in the game at this very moment, could quite happily rapidly disassemble anything that the Pioneer could put down, unless you could mount a hell of a defensive force to make the big nasties go away. The Retaliator could probably manage it on its own if it was fully manned with a couple of well placed size 9 torps. And now we have another ship that could merely drop one of its giant bombs onto one of the hab buildings and flatten it from sheer weight alone. It wouldn't even need to explode, that would just be rubbing it in. I'd love to see some more information regarding base building tools in game. even if it's just rough concepts, because at the moment anyone who is looking forward to finding that perfect crater and dunking a little hab down for themselves on Delamar, hi Rick, could potentially have their day ruined by doing something such as a mercenary mission, leaving to do it, and then returning to see their new home resembling the crater itself, maybe even with a giant bomb sat at the centre so it resembles Megaton from Fallout 3. I said earlier in the video that I'm by no means a combat pilot, and I know there are a lot of people that are. However, in my opinion, I feel we've got enough bombers in the game now. As much as I was hoping to see something from the Xian race in around the verse, I would argue we've even got enough fighters for the moment, with the Hurricane coming in as well. The addition of the Hercules sort of balances that out, as people really wanted a heavy lifter, and the civilian cargo variant is nice as well. But the addition of the gunship variant, whilst very cool and leaving several members of my org drooling and tossing Carracks into the sacrificial furnace, kind of throws the scale the other way. I'd love to see some more infrastructure based ships, something to complement the Pioneer. Maybe something along the lines of the Endeavour, which is a very multi-role platform kind of ship that's modular and can be fitted for many different purposes. Maybe you could have a module that it could detach and then have it guide itself down to the atmosphere to the surface to be part of a habitation area, similar to the landers from Endurance and Interstellar. Within a similar vein, why not ships that are themselves outposts that you can fly and move and use as a temporary base, something that could land planet side and then deploy itself as a base station. Just some food for thought. Snapping back to reality and out of my own head, lastly we've had more additions to the PTU builds for 3.1.4. CIG is still working hard to make the Gravlev fully functional again for our space bikes, as well as fixing the ESP and IFCS for all of our spaceships so that they can handle and dogfight a bit better. Last night the 5th, or the E patch, was the latest iteration, so I'm kind of expecting the full patch fix to hit the live client before too long, maybe tomorrow morning or maybe after the weekend, depending on the amount of testing that they get done. CitizenCon, CIG's big fanfest, this time in Texas, is also coming around. I won't be attending, but I'm very much looking forward to seeing the content that it'll bring, as well as some good ship sales, hopefully. Maybe with some limited variants, or maybe some kind of limited weapons in the same fashion as the blue Castak Custodian SMG. That one's always fun. Beyond that, it's business as usual within the game. So I'm sorry if this droned on a bit, maybe even sounded slightly like a rant, but hopefully it was a bit constructive and didn't sound too much like I was moaning. If you're about on Saturday evening, then Sync and the affiliate orgs are running on another community event, much like the one we had a couple of weeks ago for some fun. We're going to have some more in-atmosphere open combat Daymar warfare again. Hopefully we can get a few more people in multi-crew ships for all-out war this time. Full details can be found in the Discord, which is linked below, so hopefully we'll see some of you there. Other than that, thank you for watching guys, I hope you enjoyed. Please let me know if there's anything you'd like me to cover, or any guides or similar you'd like me to do. I jumped past 500 subs this week, so I'm very surprised and I'm very humbled you're all enjoying the videos. I continue to work to bring you the good explosions and tomfoolery we all enjoy. See you around.